Hi, this is Tim from ISTHISANYGOODDOTCOM and I'm here with a quick review of the Nintendo 3DS XL, and I have got the new blue coloured version, as you can see. Okay, so I'm not going to do a massive comparison with the original Nintendo 3DS, but I will just bring that one in and just put it on top just to give you a little size comparison so you can see. Obviously it is obviously a little bit bigger. It's not hugely bigger, and depth wise, width wise, etc, very similar indeed, and in fact it doesn't weigh a lot more than the original 3DS either. So let's have a quick look at it. It's got the familiar two cameras there at the front, the external cameras, and here is the front of the console. It's very slim, as you can see, and as I said, it is surprisingly lightweight. Now your actual stylus fits down the side now as opposed to the back. It's got all the familiar features. It's got the depth slider, and it's got you can obviously slot your game cartridge in the back, and your power adapter. Unfortunately it doesn't come with a power adapter. More about that at the end. And as you can see, it looks very nice. Okay, and one thing I like immediately about it is the new hinge system. I'll show you that in a minute. It's got the familiar left and right buttons at the back, and just opening it up, you will see that you could hear that it clicks into place because it's now got it's got a lockable hinge basically, which means it's going to stay in place as opposed to wobbling all over the place with the original 3DS. Now you can see it's got all the usual icons, all the features of the original 3DS. So there's nothing new there. Obviously you've got all your screen settings, your control settings, you've got Nintendo eShop, you've got things you can download from there, lots more icons, download, play. You've got the AR card system, you've got friend codes which you can exchange so you can link up with friends and play multiplayer, and there's a whole host of other things which you can download. Okay, so changes, well, the basic change, you can see it's an all black finish and inside, and it's a matte finish as opposed to a kind of shiny effect. Now the buttons are slightly more raised with the 3DS XL, but the actual thumb pad, circle pad feels very similar, as does the cross pad, maybe again slightly more raised. It has got a slightly more plasticky feel to it, plasticky look, but it is very well built, and I do like the new hinge system especially. Now of course we all know there's no dual circle pads, so I'm not going to go on about that. The main obvious big attraction is the massive screen, which is about, as I said, just under 5 inches. And it is obviously a much bigger screen than the original Nintendo 3DS. Now it does improve the game quality, certainly for me, because I suffer a bit with my eyesight, so it just makes reading instructions and cutscenes and things like that just that much better for me. And I'm just going to do a little comparison now with the 3DS just to give you that size advantage. Okay, so this is my other little tiny comparison with the 3DS, obviously just to show you the massive difference in size to the original 3DS and the 3DS XL. Now the actual 3D effect is slightly better and easier on the eyes on the new Nintendo 3DS XL, but the actual resolution is exactly the same. So sharpness wise, it's actually got a filter, and it's also got an anti-glare screen on the new Nintendo 3DS XL, so maybe it's not quite as sharp, I would say, at first sight as the original Nintendo 3DS. And the last real change from the actual 3DS is these buttons here at the front, the home, start, select buttons, which are actually slightly raised now, and you can clearly see them as buttons, whereas before they were set into the console. So overall, well, I think that after my initial concerns maybe over the 3DS XL's build quality, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. And although it certainly does have a slightly more plasticky feel to it, it is really well built, and obviously the advantage of a bigger screen when playing games is really great. It's also got, as you can see, slightly nicer design to it, and it's also really slightly more comfortable, I would say, in the hands than the original Nintendo 3DS. Okay, and a couple of other things just to note, and that is that it comes with a 4GB card installed, and the actual battery life for the 3DS XL probably adds about an hour to an hour and a half over that of the original Nintendo 3DS. So price wise, it's around about £160 to £180 in the UK, and it will also be a sort of similar equivalent, obviously converted into euros, in Europe. In the US, when it comes out in August, it's going to be just under the $200 mark. Now the big thing is with the 3DS in Europe is it doesn't come with one of these, and that is a power adapter. So if you're new to 3DS and you haven't got one of these, you're going to need to buy one. I've got mine for free, but you're probably going to find yourself paying about £10 for one. And of course, you don't get a dock with it, so you're going to need to potentially buy a charging dock if you want one of those. That takes away a little bit of the value. But overall, I would say it's extremely well built. It's a very, very nice looking console. It comes in 3 different colours, and I think the advantage, certainly for me, obviously, is the bigger screen. I'm not bothered about the second circle pad, so that's got no issues on my final verdict. And my final verdict is that it's pretty great stuff. Very, very impressed with it, and I would certainly check it out. If you're new to 3DS or thinking of upgrading for the bigger screen, go to your local game store, check one out and see what you think. So this has been Tim at Is This Any Good? Thanks for watching.